Netflix knows how to do these family crime dramas. We've had Ozark, we've had Bloodline, and now we have the Waterfront. It is such fun TV to watch. Holt McCallany, thank you so much for talking with me. Tell us what this show's all about.
Wow, what a great question. The show is about the Buckley family, and I'm the dad, and we're a family in North Carolina that has been in the commercial fishing business for decades. And my father was in it before me and built a kind of a little mini empire. And, when we've got not only numerous, fishing boats and trawlers, but we've got a fishery, we've got a restaurant, we have a thriving business. But as the years have gone on and the realities of the fishing industry, have put a lot of pressure on our business, we're facing some pretty severe financial hardships. And as a consequence of this, my son makes a decision to kind of pull us back into using our boats to traffic narcotics up and down the eastern seaboard. And I'm opposed to that decision because I understand what the risks and the potential consequences of that decision are. But by the time I get wind of it, we're already deep in it. And so kind of Harlan, that's the character that I play, kind of steps back in to try to take control and to try to save the family business and save his family.
This family dynamic with yourself, Melissa Benoist, Maria Bello, Jake Weary is so fun to watch for audiences. Probably not fun for those characters because it's all over the place. What is it like building relationships with those actors to play these characters?
Great question. You're always hoping that you're going to have a good relationship and form friendships with your colleagues on a television show because, unlike a movie where you got a start date and an end date, you know what I mean? And you know that, okay, we're going to finish this film in 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever it is, and then we can all go our separate ways. And, and if you didn't get along with somebody, you don't ever have to see him again. It's a different dynamic when you sign on to what is potentially a multi-season, television series, because you can end up really spending an extraordinary amount of time with the actors that you're working with, and with the crew. And we just got lucky because I think it's just Kevin's instincts as a showrunner, and some of the people that he cast are people that he's worked with before. A wonderful actress named Danielle Campbell, who plays Jake Weary's wife on the show, is somebody that I know that Kevin has worked with before. And then other people, like Melissa, who's just super talented. And I really, I didn't have many scenes with Melissa, but I felt like the scenes that we did have together were really good because of what she brought to them. And then, Maria Bello plays my wife, and Maria Bello is a very experienced veteran actress, who really, really holds her own in any scene that she's in. So, we have these really talented people, and they all happen to be, genuinely, not kind and generous and warm, easygoing people that are fun to work with, that I look forward to seeing every day on the set. And when you've got that kind of an environment where there's, there's no acrimony, there's no negative energy. Everybody's got a great attitude. Everybody likes being there. Everybody, we've got a wonderful crew. Kevin is a very supportive presence and really likes his actors. He's very collaborative, very generous. So, it's a really happy set. And that's not always what you get.
And
Sometimes, you know what I mean? Sometimes it can
oh
be
yeah.
really, really different. Yeah.
And that showrunner you mentioned, Kevin Williamson, obviously people know he wrote the Scream movies. He's the showrunner behind Dawson's Creek, The Vampire Diaries, The Following, all these great TV shows and movies, and now he's here with the Waterfront. What is that trust like building? Because obviously you know it's going to be great material from him. What is it like to have him as your showrunner and trust the process that he's got this going?
Yeah, another great question. Every showrunner is different, and you have to kind of like, like get to know somebody and their way of working and what's important to them, and what I discovered about Kevin Williamson is that he's genuinely one of the sort of nicest, kindest, most supportive guys that I've ever had the privilege to work with. He's a very, quiet, gentle presence on the set. There he is. He's behind the monitor. He's watching. You're always sort of like feeling like, if you have a question or you have an idea that you'd like to present, he's very receptive to that. He really likes actors, and it shows. And so, I was very grateful to Kevin, for choosing me because there were some really, really good actors that were kind of interested in this part, and the fact that I'm the one who ended up with the role makes me feel very fortunate, and like I said, very grateful to Kevin.
You're a terrific patriarch in this role. We have the ending. Obviously, we can't talk spoilers, but audiences are dying for a second season, needing to know where this family continues. What can you kind of hope for in a second season for your family, for your characters?
It's such a great question. It's very hard for me. Like we have not yet officially been, picked up for a second season. I think that our producers are optimistic, but you don't want to count your chickens before they hatch. So we're hopeful. In a world where we get renewed, it's difficult for me to predict what direction the writers will decide to go in. I haven't had any kind of detailed conversations with Kevin about that. We were more interested in getting the first season in the can, launching the show, seeing what the audience reaction was, what the critical reaction was, what the numbers were like. Audiences seem to really love the show. They're tuning in. People are talking about it, and I've had a number of friends of mine say to me, that they had friends of theirs say, "Hey, have you seen this new show, The Waterfront, on Netflix? I love it. It's really great." And they didn't even know that individual was a good friend of mine. Do you know what I mean? They're just kind of like bringing the thing up, and then my buddy would say, "Yeah, well, actually, that's my friend. That's my friend's show." So people love the show, and I think that that's a testament to Kevin and his instincts as a writer and as a showrunner. And so it's hard for me to know. Well, one of the main conflicts that existed in season one was between myself and my son Jake Weary, and how I wanted him to kind of toughen up. You know what I mean? Oops. So I'm hoping that in season two, Jake and I will, sort of be less at odds and be more of a team going forward. But I'll have to wait and see when the scripts come in.
If you haven't watched The Waterfront, it's going to be an easy 8 episode binge for you. Now streaming all episodes on Netflix. Thank you so much, Holt.
Thank you. Appreciate it.